keep telling me you want a demonstration on bedding a rifle. Okay, customer comes in and he has a, which one was this one? This is a 270 short mag. Came in the atypical Remington Tupperware stock that you leave out in the sun and it kind of changes out to whatever you want it to be. Kind of like a box of crayons. So we get rid of that piece of shit. And we're going to put it in HS Precision stock because he wanted it fairly light and, you know, it's going to make a decent build. So, first thing we do is get it in here, make sure it fits roughly. I'm going to go around and I'm going to mark the back of the tang with pencil so I can see where the metal stops. Alright. Now we take this thing apart. Okay, we take it apart. Okay, typical HS Precision stock. It's got the full aluminum bedding in it. It's a great idea and it's a great place to start. I'm not knocking HS Precision. They make a great place for the next level of gun. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come in here and I'm going to machine out their aluminum bedding surface all through here, along the side, right here. What I'm going to do here is it's going to clean this surface and make room for bedding compound. And the reason I do that instead of just bolting it down in there per their instructions is because there aren't too many Remingtons that are exactly the same on the outside. There's going to be high spots, low spots, different curves. Some of them have this, the stainless steel ones have this groove cut into the back of them. Not exactly sure why they do it, but they do it. And tools wear, and these are CNC made, and then the stock's made around them. There's no way to really manufacture something with a round bottom that's going to fit another surface that they have absolutely no control over the tolerances on. So we just basically get rid of it all so the gun will sit in there in a very neutral and relaxed position. It's not twisting the action or bowing it over a high spot or trying to pull it down into a low spot. So let's just throw it in the mill. Nothing real precision about this part, I just want clearance. Yes, I know I've just voided the warranty on this stock, so please forgive me. like in kindergarten, we gotta stay inside the lines. Alright. Now I've got a nice clean spot for the glue to stick to. My favorite release agent. Cost effective and works every time. The only thing that I've ever used this can for is bedding stocks. So when you see how little we use, you can see how many stocks that I've bed. I like to come in inside the screw holes, put a little wax in here. Makes a cleaner job when we're done. Hole looks nice. Okay. And I come in, and where I don't want the glue to stick to the inside, just put a little wax. I could come back in and mill these surfaces out again later, but all that's going to do is add to the cost and, you know, increase my chances for a disaster. If I turn a mill handle the wrong way, I get to buy somebody a new stock. Well, a lot of guys will take that risk just by increasing the cost for everyone. That way, when he does make that mistake, somebody else has already paid for that. Alright. Put a little on the outside right here. Whoop. Okay. That part's ready. On the actions, we take off everything that we don't need to leave on. Action screws. We're going to take our magazine box, ball and spring. Put those over here. Find my punch. And Wackenheimer. We're going to take the trigger out. Make sure you catch all the springs. Bolt stop. Alright. Big thing when you're doing this is make sure you get down into these little sharp corners. The bedding material really likes to get into those edges, and when it does that, it gets a really good bite. You risk breaking the stock or just messing up your bedding job. I like to fill the lettering on the side full of wax as well, just to make the cleanup that much easier. down on the threads. Thing about bedding rifles, if the glue can possibly get there, it will. And if you don't want it there, you better put some release agent on it. I got the bottom metal all greased up, or waxed up. Got the bottom of the action. And the screws. Alright, if you get anything, we got glue on the action, bottom metal, screws, stock where I don't want it. That should take care of all the releasing. Alright, I'm going to get give me a mixing board out, and I will mix up some Marine Tex. I like Marine Tex just because of the way it dries. Alright, I got my Marine Tex. A little secret about Marine Tex is don't use too much hardener. You use too much hardener and it actually doesn't harden. If you don't use enough, it just takes a couple more minutes for it to dry. So, and the hardener is really angry stuff. It likes to smoke just about the minute it comes out of the can. Alright. Sit there and get angry for just a second now that we got it all mixed up. Use the most up front because I fill up their recoil lug recess and let whatever spill out, spill out. Try and get it down to the surface all the way. We aren't getting any big air pockets. Alright. We'll double do you back here. Alright. Try and get the screw started. 4. Let it all the way way down in there. Okay. That way it's at least lined up. Now I bring the screws down to where they're just touching. I want, like I said, I want the stock to be without any stress on it. And I want the action and barrel without any stress on it. Just let it sit in there. Now that I've got the screws where I want it, which are just touching, they're not even really tight at all, I'll bring it back over here and do the cleanup. And yes, this is where you get it on your thumb, and then it ends up all over the gun, all over your shirt, all over your shop, all over your house. And then your wife yells at you. While it's wet, it'll clean off your hands with just soap and water. You don't need to use any nasty chemical. I use isopropanol alcohol when I'm cleaning it off the stock.
It's not going to affect the curing time on that?
Not at all. So now you can see why I like to fill the letters up on the side of the receiver with wax, because it always gets in there. And if I miss a little bit during this stage of the cleanup, it just pops right back out. You can still see an edge of it. Don't worry about it, because the stuff shrinks just a little bit. And I'll just pull back underneath the metal and it'll just be gone.
So what's the curing time on this?
I think the can says 12 hours, but I generally just leave them be until tomorrow morning. Generally, this is one of the last things that I do when I walk out of the shop in the day. That way, first thing in the morning, come in, pop them out, clean them up, get them ready for shipping.
So I guess that's why it's really important to use that wax on the bottom of everything that has contact with the glue, so tomorrow morning you can pop it out of
Yeah, so it does come apart.
Okay, so what's the recourse then if somebody missed something?
Well, generally it starts out by buying a new stock, because that's going to be the weakest link, and it'll break. I've seen some very nice wood stocks destroyed because somebody didn't put wax on all the places that it needed to be.
Okay, so tomorrow morning you're going to come take everything apart again.
Yep.
Hopefully everything pops right back off.
Yep,
Now, how tight are the screws going to need to be? You're going to snug those up, or are you?
Nope, I leave them just like that, because if I tighten up anything now and there's a high spot in there someplace, it'll bend the action.
Okay.
So we just leave them just like that, and just let it dry. Then tomorrow, when I come back in, put everything back together, take everything apart, reassemble the gun, put it back together, then I can tighten down the screws to a normal torque spec, and now it's sitting on those bedded surfaces. And it's already as high as it possibly can be because
Right.
it's sitting on top of the bedding. And it's just that simple, folks. I mean, there's no real rocket science to this. You'll see on the inside where the bedding material run over on the inside right here. It's no big deal. We put wax in there, just let it dry, pop it apart, take the bottom metal off, reach in with a chisel, and just pop that out of there, and it'll just come off in one big piece with a nice clean break line wherever your wax stopped.
Nice. So that's it, huh?
That's it. That's the voodoo to bedding a stock.